Hello, Namaste, Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to Cricket for Us. And today we're going to talk about Pakistan and India. To be honest, both cricket teams just had ODI series in particular against two teams that are below them in terms of their quality of team at the moment. Zimbabwe and India were very one-sided games. At least the first two were. The last one, India tried a lot of their bench. And yes, India won at the end, but Zimbabwe put up a really good fight. Sikandar Raza with a fantastic 100 as well, and there were wickets galore from a Zimbabwe perspective. But the big thing that we've seen in the India series was Shubman Gill firing on all cylinders, scoring a fantastic 130, pretty much half the runs in that final ODI. But overall, throughout the series, Shubman Gill was the standout for me from an Indian perspective. And if you look at the bowling side of things, India tried Shardul Thakur, Arshdeep Singh, you had Bhuvi, you had other options. You had a lot of options basically from an Indian perspective. So India looked pretty set, and I want to utter the same words that Rohit Sharma uttered, which we're pretty much 90% there, which I agree with. And Surya Kumar Yadav in the form of his life. You have KL Rahul back. Yes, he didn't have a great series, but you have KL Rahul back. Sanju Samson, Ishan Kishan. So India tried a lot of things in this series and came out 3-0, won the series. From a T20 perspective for Asia Cup and then potentially and eventually the T20 World Cup later this year, I think India are pretty set in stone with their sides. I've already released a video with Aaron, the cricket connoisseur, about what a potential 11 that India will put up. I know Jasprit Bumrah is injured, unfortunately, but he might come back for the T20 World Cup, fingers crossed. And on the other end, if I talk about Pakistan, yes, Pakistan won the series against Netherlands 3-0. One thing Pakistan always ceases to amaze me with is doesn't matter who the opponent is, they will play at their level or try to play at their level the best they possibly can. First ODI, Pakistan won by 16 runs, if I'm not wrong. And do you know how they won that? They dropped so many catches, terrible fielding. That was pretty much Pakistan's best side, barring Shaheen Afridi, who, as mentioned on multiple occasions on this channel now, is injured. At least 6-week recovery period starting now, let's say. He should, fingers crossed once again, inshallah, be fit enough to start the T20 World Cup. But Asia Cup, he's completely out of. And for that reason, Mohammad Hasnan has come in as a replacement. There was a lot of talk about potentially Wahab Riaz, Mohammad Amir, Junaid Khan, left armers galore, right? I talked about a few, Mir Hamza, Mohammad Imran. Rahat Ali apparently is still around, so I didn't know that. But Mohammad Hasnan is probably the best option because he has been consistently with the Pakistan team for about 3 years now. Yes, he went away for a little while. Yes, his action was called illegal. He worked on it, came back. Yes, Marcus Stoinis thinks he's still throwing it. Even if he is, I don't think it's going past the 15-degree barrier. But again, I can't tell you that. The actual analysts can tell you a lot better, analyzing exact angles and video footage and, all that good stuff. But what I can tell you is he's looked pretty good in the 100. Yes, he's not bowling 90 miles per hour consistently, but he's bowling decent lines. Even if his pace is about 4 or 5 miles per hour less, doesn't matter too much. As long as he can get those hard lengths sorted, I'm okay with that. And so Hasnan is a replacement for Shaheen Shah Afridi, and Pakistan doesn't have a left-arm pace bowler in this particular instance, but India does. And this is going to be an interesting take where Pakistan doesn't have one, but India does. Don't see it very often. You do see it sometimes, but you don't see it very often where Pakistan doesn't have a left-arm fast bowler. But yeah, back to my original point. Mohammad Hasnan, not a bad shout. Good decision. I like Hasnan. Big fan. I don't know if he's going to start off, though. I think Pakistan might go with Wasim Jr., Shahnawaz Dahani, and Haris Rauf as the three pace bowlers. Wait, scratch that. Pakistan are going to go with Haris Rauf, potentially Naseem Shah, and then Mohammad Wasim Jr. I think Shahnawaz Dahani is still one level down from a Pakistani perspective to play in the World Cup, even though I think in the UAE he will be tremendous. But Naseem Shah's done well in the series against Netherlands. Took like 10 wickets in 3 matches. Got his first ODI 5 for, yes, ODI T22 formats. But Pakistan will be looking to consider Naseem Shah based on this performance and based on what just Pakistan believes is the right way forward. I would go Haris 100%. I would go Wasim because of the slight batting advantage, but also the fact that he's played a lot more T20 cricket than Naseem and Shahnawaz combined. it's coin toss. I would go Shahnawaz Dahani personally, but Naseem Shah with the form he's in, yes, he came back from injury recently, but he's looked good. He looked good against Netherlands. I don't know if he can still do that in the UAE against a freaking Indian side on the 28th of August. And then whichever sides Pakistan plays in the Asia Cup. But I think Naseem Shah and Shahnawaz Dahani is the only distinguishable factor for me. It'll be one of those two. I don't know which one, though, at this point. Now, coming back to the batting, I never even started. Let's talk about the batting for Pakistan. There have been a lot of talks, and I must mention a few names. Hit wicket by Rampus. Keshav is a famous singer in India, but he talks a lot of cricket sense as well. There's Ashwani. There's a lot of cricket friends that I've made throughout this process of the channel, and they've all been telling me Shadab Khan needs to bat at number 4 for Pakistan in T20s. He's done for Islamabad United. He's aggressive. Pakistan needs to go in with an aggressive approach. All that being said, I think Pakistan needs 4 solid batsmen in the top 4. Where some people mentioned Iftikhar Ahmed, again, I would, even though Iftikhar Ahmed has looked pretty all right in the KPL, yes, he doesn't play the long innings, but he's looked good. I think Pakistan will look towards Haider Ali. I don't know why, I just get that inkling. I would like to see Haider Ali perform, but he hasn't fulfilled his potential yet. And I think he will eventually. The way he plays, he's very, very strong on the leg side. He's an aggressive player, but he does get out the same way very, very often. So I don't know which way they're going to go. In that middle order, though, you got the top 3, got Babar, Rizwan, Fakhr. There's talks about Fakhr opening with Rizwan and then Babar at 3 or some sort of combination there. I'm happy with those 3, whatever order they come in. And then for that number 4 spot, that's still a question for Pakistan. And if I were to answer that question, I don't mind the Shadab Khan approach. I would go Haider Ali, and then I would have Khushdil, Asif, and Shadab, and then Nawaz. But that's where people are like, well, if you go that route, then isn't Shadab batting at 7 too low? But Shadab can be used as a floater. Same with Nawaz, can be used as a floater. So Pakistan can't get stuck in, 7 is too low, 8 is too low, etc., because they can float up and down. It's how the T20 format kind of works. Even the white ball format. If you look at England does that quite a lot. And yes, England's not the greatest ODI side, but has been one of the best ODI sides I've seen. Let me rephrase that. White ball sides I've seen in the last few years. Yes, they're not at their best at the moment, but they have looked pretty darn good when they're using some interesting and innovative tactics. So can't really disagree with that personally. So yeah, Shadab Khan, potentially, if he comes in at 4, the Nawaz is at 7, and you got Khushdil and Asif. I think Pakistan has to play Khushdil and Asif. Asif, what he did last year was fantastic. Khushdil offers an over or 2 now, right? You don't have to count on Fakhar Zaman. Khushdil offers an over or 2, even though I don't think Pakistan should utilize his over or 2, but it is what it is. And if Shadab's at 4, that means Nawaz comes in at 7 potentially. And then we have an option of playing potentially 4 fast bowlers. Or depending on the pitch, you play Zahid Mahmood, and then you play, or Usman Qadir, sorry, and you play 3 paces. Now, if they play 4 paces, that's an interesting way to go. Would be nice to see Wasim, Shahnawaz, Naseem, and Haris Rauf bowling together, and it might take the pressure off Haris, who will, in a way, be leading the pack. I know I've just rambled on a lot about this, but this was meant to be a really quick video talking about Pakistan not being great in Netherlands and India trying their bench and Pakistan trying their bench, and both of them kind of struggling in that final match with most of their bench. So interesting scenes for world cricket. But yeah, the Asia Cup about to begin shortly. I will be doing an Asia Cup preview with the Cricket Connoisseur, which will be a lot of fun. And yeah, genuinely, Pakistan's bowling looks okay. Yes, they're still giving runs and runs away. Their bowling looks okay. Their top order looks all right. The middle order is where it's going to come down to. If the 2 out of 3 middle order batsmen fire, Pakistan's set. If not, they're kind of screwed on there. But let's hope something nice can happen out of this. And from an Indian perspective, I know this video is supposed to be Pakistan and India, and I'm mostly talking about Pakistan. India looks good. Can't really, doubt on them much. The questions India's probably asking is, do they go in with 2 spinners or not? And does Virat Kohli sit in or fit in to the 11 or not? Suryakumar Yadav, Deepak Huda, Rishabh Pant, KL Rahul, Sanju Samson, Virat Kohli, right? The middle order can be absolutely stacked. So India looks a lot more settled. They have a lot more options than Pakistan does. So maybe it's easier from one perspective, but at the other end, it's hard to get their best combo sorted out. But yeah, it was India's series. It was Pakistan's series and the Asia Cup. Yes, it begins with Afghanistan and Sri Lanka, but for me personally, starts with Pakistan, India. Let's see how that match goes on the 28th. And yeah, Pakistan are going to find it difficult to beat India. Maybe even get past Super Fours if they get into it. But anyways, thank you everyone for watching. Please do like, share, and subscribe. Do let me know your thoughts about Pakistan and India and all that good stuff, because I just really want to see how both of these teams do against each other with no Bumrah and no Shaheen Afridi. It's going to be a challenge more for Pakistan, but it'll be nice to see. But yeah, thank you everyone. And until next time, take care.